the Palestinian ambassador.
Friends, PSC board members, executives, delegates, friends, old and few, and I see many old and I see many new friends here. Thank you for the warm reception. It is an honor to be with you today. Allow me to offer my gratitude to Louise Reagan, Ben Jamal, and the team, and all the PSC branches and members across the country for your inspiring leadership over the past 15 months. You have been relentless. Your solidarity has been infectious. Your activism, among many other achievements, has brought millions onto the streets of London and all over the country almost every week, almost every day over the last 15 months. It has been remarkable. So my friends, I bring two messages to all of you here today. The first is simple. Shukran jazilan. Thank you. Thank you. I know I stood here last year and I told you the same thing, but I will tell you again. I salute you, every and each one of you. I'm going to salute you. Thank you for your efforts, your passion, your determination, your solidarity, and your refusal to be silenced. Thank you for standing on the right side of history. Thank you for not being intimidated by those who would slander you or bully you. Thank you for coming out again and again and again, and thank you for your humanity, your civility, your self-restraint, for never allowing yourself to be provoked. You have been truly heroic. You kept the pressure on your government. You kept the pressure on your media. When they wanted people to look away, you made them look. When they wanted you to go away, you came back, even louder, even stronger, and even more determined. And while it took 15 long months of genocide to get to a ceasefire, we got there. And it is in large part due to your unwavering determination that we got there. So, a 14 million thank you from every and each Palestinian. But, my friends, it is not over. It is far from being over. And this is my second message to you today. Israel is accelerating its military aggression in the occupied West Bank, accelerating its settlement land grabs. Settler terrorists are running rampant. Every day, more people are being arrested with no charge. Hundreds. And just like Gaza, Israel is destroying the infrastructure, people's livelihoods and lives in the West Bank with jet fighters and missiles. Israel's genocidal aggression continues. If a ceasefire in Gaza was part one, part two, the real struggle has just begun. Because now is the time that we focus on the end goal. On the end goal. Yes, we want a ceasefire, of course, but a ceasefire is not the end goal. Yes, we are relieved and grateful that we are not seeing more than 100 innocent people being killed in Gaza every day. We are relieved, our people, our families. But we are now seeing people in the West Bank being killed every day. and an end to Israel's genocidal violence is also not the end goal in itself. Yes, we need to rebuild Gaza, and we must rebuild Gaza. The destruction there is so massive that people cannot even recognize the rubble of their own homes. I was on the phone just now. Somebody called me and said, I've been searching for the rubbles of my home. I couldn't find it. A very close friend, and many from my own family. Most of those who live in the north, they went back to inspect the damage, and they had to come back south because there was nothing left. Rebuilding will be a massive undertaking. Last year, I promised we would rebuild bigger and better from this podium. But I did not expect, I must be honest, I did not expect another year of genocide, of mass destruction. The magnitude of destruction is unprecedented. Homes, schools, universities, hospitals, water and sewage infrastructure, roads, factories, agricultural land, businesses, everything. But everything needs to be rebuilt. And we will rebuild. We will rebuild. We will rebuild Gaza just as we will rebuild Jenin and Tulkarem and everywhere else in our homeland. But do we rebuild just so it can be destroyed again? How do we even begin to address the trauma of 2.3 million people in Gaza? The horrors they have witnessed. My sister tells me, who I just saw a couple of days ago in Gaza, in Cairo, she tells me horrific stories. But when the home next to hers was bombed, exactly next to hers, a woman clutching her child was literally thrown across the street into my sister's yard. Both were horribly disfigured and burnt. Both were dead, but still the mother, with all that impact, still had her child, holding her child. How can my sister ever forget this? How can we ever forget this? We shall never, ever forget the genocide in Gaza. Our people in Gaza have suffered and sacrificed. They have endured and preserved. They have remained steadfast amid brutality. And they remain steadfast despite the devastation they return to, despite the trauma they carry. And still, in the last 15 months, our people have shown what humanity can offer at its best. Shown humanity, shown compassion, solidarity, strength, love. You've seen the parents sitting on the rubbles of their homes, attending to their children doing their homework. That defiance, that human power. You've seen our teachers still intense, giving our kids who are going for the second year without education. You've seen the doctors. You've seen Dr. Husam Abu Safiye. You've seen him burying his own child and still immediately attending to his patients, the wounded. What came out of Gaza was an example of humanity. So my friends, you know what the end game is. This was never a ceasefire movement. This was never a ceasefire movement. It was always a movement for justice, a movement for rights. And because I want to convey to you a very clear message today, really, I must admit that one of the issues is that people would be mobilized, active, when Palestinian blood is being spilled. We see thousands upon thousands, millions upon millions, as we did in the last 15 months. But this movement and this mobilization has also to be not only about Palestinian blood being spilled, but about Palestinian rights being denied. And therefore, This is always a movement to liberate Palestine from oppression and occupation. It was always about upholding the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people, our right to self-determination, our right to return, our right to freedom and dignity, our right to give our children a different future, our right to give them opportunities, prosperity. You know, we have one of the youngest populations in the region, maybe worldwide, and one of the most educated. And as I have said from the beginning, this is about far more than just the Palestinian people. It is about far more than us. It is about all of us. It is about you, every single one of us in this room and beyond. Because no state in the world should be allowed to do what Israel has done, not only for the last 15 months, but for the last 77 years. No state, no entity should be allowed to do so. 77 years of ethnic cleansing, of military occupation, of apartheid, of genocide. All of this must end now. And I truly believe that now is the moment. Now is the time. It is the moment for accountability. Accountability. War criminals must face consequences. Arrest warrants against Netanyahu and Gallants and all Israeli generals and officials must be upheld by third states. Those who have supported war crimes must be held accountable, not just the Israeli government and army. All third states who have helped, supported, aided the genocide must be held accountable. International law and the international order must be reasserted. We must renew our commitment, our global commitment to universal human rights, rights that are inherent to all and must be applied equally to everyone. This is our moment. This is your moment. So my friends, keep the pressure on your government. Please do keep the pressure on your government. The UK must abide by its commitments under international law and international humanitarian law. Please demand that your government makes good on the UK's stated support for Palestinian self-determination and takes the necessary steps to immediately recognize the state of Palestine. Reaffirm Britain's commitment to a just solution that recognizes without ambiguity the rights of the Palestinian people to our native land. Demand that your government acts with conviction and not with half measures, half policies, half decisions, half arms embargo, half sanctions on the settlers. Law cannot be subdivided. Commitments cannot be halved. Impose a full arms embargo now. And impose sanctions on settlements and settlers and the state that sponsors these war crimes. We also need you to keep the pressure on your media, not to turn away, to actually report on the atrocities that have been committed rather than underplay them, to confront Israel's ban on access of international media, particularly in Gaza, to present some context, to show some backbone. I just came back from the BBC. Literally, I was live on the BBC. And I asked the BBC, I asked the presenter, I said, why do you describe the Israelis captives as hostages while thousands of Palestinians, you describe them as prisoners? Palestinians are not prisoners, they are not criminals, they are freedom fighters. Freedom fighters. Enough. Enough with the media double standards. Enough with the hypocrisy, the playing with words, the blockage of the truth, the complacency and the complicity. And media has a responsibility to call a spade and to get their terminology right. When you have more than 400 Palestinian children in Israeli captivity, you call them prisoners? When you know that the vast majority of the Palestinian detainees are held without charge, without trial, without due process, you call them prisoners? Thousands. There are more than 10,000 Palestinian detainees in Israeli torture camps. Those are not prisons. Those are torture camps, murder camps. And you know about the reports about the sexual abuse in these torture camps, murder camps. More than 38 Palestinians were killed in Israeli prisons, camps over the last 15 months, including doctors. Our detainees are hostages to the Israeli martial law, hostages to the system of oppression. This is what the BBC and the international media must call them. So therefore, my friends, this is not a moment to rest. It's a moment to redouble our efforts, to raise the volume. Peace is not an end to violence, even if an end to violence comes with relief. Peace is certainly not some dubious proposals to clean out Gaza of its native people. Let me be absolutely bluntly clear. There will not be another Nakba. There will not be another Nakba of the Palestinian people, no matter who wants it. It's over. No more. Never again. We will not allow it. Our neighbors, our Arab brothers and sisters will not allow it, and you will not allow it. So my friends, any normal, decent human being, any ethical human being should not even consider this. The only clean out that we need to do, the only clean out that needs to be done is of the colonial occupation of the occupied Palestinian territory. And therefore, peace only means one word. One word. Peace means justice. Peace means justice. And therefore only through liberation can we ensure that we never again endure the horrors we have witnessed over the last 15 months and which continues now in the West Bank and the injustices of the past 77 years. I will conclude, my friends, by telling you only through liberation, that can we ensure that all rebuildings, that all that trauma, all that grief does not repeat itself. Enough. Only through liberation we ensure that. They, my friends, will try to stop you. They have, and they will try to stop you. They will try to tell you there is nothing to protest anymore. They will try to tell you you are being disruptive, that you are being unrealistic, that you are being contrarian. To which there is only one response, one answer. We will never stop, we will never waver, and we will carry on until there is a free Palestine. Thank you. شكرا.